Hello everyone, I'm Raven from Raven Comics, and in today's video, we will see when Reverse Flash remembered that Batman attacked him from behind with his sword and seeks revenge against the current Batman. We start at Arkham Asylum. The prisoners are watching a hockey game. This is the final minute. The game is being played in Gotham City Arena. This is the final game of the Western Conference. Gotham is tied 1-1 against Metropolis. The final minute begins. The inmates are watching, and a crazy girl, known as Saturn Girl, asks when the deaths will start. That same girl screams desperately. They're going to kill them. Interestingly, behind her is a symbol with a smiley face. The girl begins to go even crazier and shouts, "Stop it, stop it. You can't stop it. Stop it. Remember, those two have a history. Stop it. Can't you see? Nobody gets it. Superman won't come. Our friends will die. The Legion will die. No one can stop him. You never know what will happen." All this she screamed with great desperation and tears. Finally, she says, "No one will save us. It's time to go to the Batcave." Practically on all the screens, Batman has the image of the button he found with the smiley face on the middle screen. He has other images. One of them is the game. The last minute of the game has started. While Batman watches and listens to the game, he holds the button in one of his hands. Something bad starts to happen in the game. One of the players gets hit hard. The player gets angry and goes to confront his opponent. The two are about to start a fight. The battle is over for the Metropolis player. He's on the ground and just took a big beating. Batman gets bored with all he has seen and decides to turn off all the screens. He then throws the button onto one of his tables. On that same table was the Psycho Pirate mask. Something strange starts happening. There is a small spark between the button and the mask. After that connection, the button releases a large electric shock at Batman. As a result, he is thrown back. After that attack, Thomas Wayne appears in front of his son Bruce. He tries to take his hand, but unfortunately, that was only a vision. Batman communicates with Flash and tells him that he was examining the bloody button he found in the Batcave. When he left it on the table, some kind of reaction occurred with the Psycho Pirate mask. Flash tells him he's in the middle of a fight and asks if he can wait a little longer. Batman tells him that the radiation from the button has increased a lot. It seems like it has opened a hole in the Speed Force. Batman saw it. There was something strange in that hole. Flash is still fighting. The samurais he is fighting are numerous, so he tells Batman he will join him in a minute. Batman tells him it's fine. It doesn't matter if it's Flash or not. Batman didn't expect him to arrive so fast. The countdown begins. We start from a minute. Out of nowhere, Reverse Flash appears. Professor Zoom boasts that he is even faster. So get ready, Batman, because you're about to see the fastest man in the world in action. Reverse Flash introduces himself. He had been dead for a while. Well, to be more precise, he had been dead for a long time. But the power called him. The Reverse woke up and resurrected. The Professor is about to grab the button. Batman realizes this and runs to catch Reverse Flash. The Professor uses his speed to prevent Batman from touching him. The Bat is on the ground. The Professor asks if Batman wants more of a fight. The blows from Professor Zoom to Batman begin. The beating he's giving is brutal. Batman can do nothing to defend himself. This is turning into a massacre. Batman can't stop bleeding. The minute becomes slower and slower. This is because Reverse Flash manages to land up to 4 blows in less than a second. Even though Batman is practically defeated, Professor Zoom keeps hitting him. Teaching the son of the man who killed him a lesson was serious. After delivering that brutal beating, Professor Zoom is surprised that Batman is still alive. He finds it funny. The punches stop. It's time for something else. Reverse Flash grabs Batman and runs him through the Batcave. After this small run, Reverse Flash brutally slams him against one of his capsules. We're at the 38-second mark. Professor Zoom wonders what that is that he's looking at. He picks up the letter Thomas Wayne sent to his son. He wonders if that's what Thomas did before he killed him. Thomas Wayne sent a message through time, a letter to his dead son. Reverse Flash starts reading the letter. After finishing it, he stands up and shouts, asking if that made Thomas Wayne feel better. "How did you feel while fighting in your world's war? I suppose you felt fantastic. At the 31-second mark, Reverse Flash begins to destroy the letter. Batman just screams in desperation. After that, the Bat asks him to leave his cave. The Professor mocks him. After all, what could Batman do? While vibrating, he can't hurt him. Batman agrees and asks, "Do you know what else is true? When you vibrate, you're not that stable unless something solid is touching the ground." Reverse Flash is surprised to hear this. Batman pulls out a batarang and drives it into one of Reverse Flash's feet, making contact with the ground as well. Reverse Flash screams in desperation from the pain. It's time for Batman's revenge to begin. At the 20-second mark, the Bat lands 2 good hits. That was all he could do. The Professor defends himself. He just had to clap to generate energy and throw Batman back, crashing into one of his screens. After that, he manages to free his foot from the pain. Batman asks him again to leave his cave. Reverse Flash tells Batman he can't win. Batman knows that, but he doesn't need to defeat Reverse Flash. All he needs is to buy a few more seconds. At the 10-second mark, Reverse Flash runs to continue his attack. Batman tries to land a hit, but Reverse Flash uses his abilities again to dodge it. Reverse Flash sends him back to the ground with a blow. Batman gets up. The Professor is about to deliver another blow. The Bat avoids it and this time manages to land a hit on his face. The Professor quickly recovers. He gains speed and delivers a blow that makes Batman fall to the floor. At the 2-second mark, Batman is on the ground and Reverse Flash keeps attacking him. At the 1-second mark, Batman can't fight anymore. But with a smile on his face, he tells Reverse Flash that this is overtime. Unfortunately for Batman, Flash hasn't arrived. The Professor is filled with rage and delivers one last blow to Batman, leaving him on the ground. Batman is completely unconscious. The Professor walks to where the button is. After crouching, he grabs it and asks the button, "What's the mystery with you? Why is there so much fuss about a smiley face?" Something happens. There's a bright blue light. Reverse Flash disappears. In the next frames, we see that he's nowhere to be found. Batman is still on the ground, and Reverse Flash is nowhere to be seen. Seconds later, the bright light returns, and with it comes Professor Zoom. Something terrible just happened to him. His body has severe injuries. Reverse Flash just says, "I saw it. Oh God, I saw it." Whatever he saw, Professor Zoom has just been left with half of his body burned. The expression of his words is as if he literally saw God. After all of this, the images show the Batcave stairs. Only a lightning bolt passes by. Flash arrives and tells Bruce that he's sorry. He stopped at the Blades game to see if he could save Taylor, but he thinks he died on the ice with the last hit. "It was too late when I got there." Barry Allen has arrived. No matter how fast Flash is, he never manages to get there on time. And this time, he was late again. He only arrived to see the body of his rival, in addition to looking at Batman, unconscious on the floor. Now we're with Johnny Thunder, who was at the top of the old people's asylum. He was desperately screaming the name of the genie and trying to reunite with him again. But none of that was happening. The doctors arrive with Johnny. They immediately sedate him and take him back to the asylum. Johnny just screams in desperation. He says that the lightning asked him to find his friends, referring to Wally West. The Justice Society is lost, and it's all his fault. We move to Barry Allen, who is marking the crime scene. On the ground lies the corpse of Reverse Flash. Half of his body is completely burned to the point where his skeleton is visible. Barry is an expert forensic scientist. While analyzing the scene, he realizes that Professor Zoom attacked Batman with the intent to severely torture him, but not to kill him. That's why Batman was able to endure so much. The only one who died here was Professor Zoom. He was a scientist and criminal from the 25th century obsessed with Flash. Reverse Flash traveled through time to murder Flash's mother. From that day on, Barry's life changed completely. What Reverse Flash wanted was for Barry to suffer as much as possible. Reverse Flash called this plan Reverse Vengeance. The killer of his mother is now on the floor. Despite the death of his enemy, Barry knows that this won't bring his mother back. But the question is, who killed Professor Zoom? If someone was capable of ending his life and leaving his body in that state, that someone must be very powerful. Barry knows that Reverse Flash's true power was running through time and manipulating events to satisfy his needs. Flash's abilities come from the Speed Force, but Professor Zoom's abilities are self-created. This is called negative Speed Force. Every speedster has a unique energy signature. What's strange here is that Professor Zoom has Barry's energy all over his body. Flash wonders if he might have killed him at some point in the future. Alfred is in the Batcave investigating. Barry asks if he has found anything. Alfred tells him that all the surveillance equipment was damaged. Professor Zoom's lightning might have been responsible for that, which means there's only one witness, and that is Batman. Barry goes to Bruce Wayne, who is just regaining consciousness, and we see him in a bed. His body is still completely injured. In a conversation between the two, Bruce tells him that the professor screamed desperately that he had seen God. Barry tells him that the professor was always a man of science, not faith. Flash thinks that Reverse Flash might have traveled through time and space before he was killed. In any case, how did he manage to return to the Batcave? Did someone force him to return? Even though he's dead, his body shows strange vibration patterns. Batman questions Barry a lot about the tests he's done. Flash is surprised by these questions. He's a forensic expert and knows how to do his job well. So far, he has done the tests at his disposal and hasn't found anything. Bruce apologizes for those questions, then says that he's had the button for months and hasn't found anything. Barry reminds him that when he called, he told him that the button reacted with Psycho Pirate's mask and that he saw something. Bruce says he saw a ghost. Barry is surprised to hear this. That ghost was his father. He wore a mask and suit similar to Bruce's. Flash tells him that this sounds like the Batman from Flashpoint. Barry asks how he knows it was really his father. Bruce says he would recognize him anywhere, plus he heard him speak and recognized that voice. Barry admits that all of this is his fault. It all happened because of Flashpoint. That event left them vulnerable, and now they are suffering the consequences, like the attack from Professor Zoom. Bruce tells him to relax. Also, that mysterious being who's playing with them and the timelines has been doing this since before Flashpoint. There must be something they're not seeing. There's probably evidence in Professor Zoom's body, but they haven't managed to see it yet. Analyze it. The button appeared in the Batcave the night Wally returned. The fact that they killed Reverse Flash cannot be a coincidence. Also, when Reverse Flash disappeared, the button didn't return with him. Barry also remembers that since Wally's return, he's had visions of Mercury's helmet. Every time Flash remembers this, calmness returns to him. Batman thinks that Barry is hiding something from him. Flash tells him it's not like that, and Bruce asks if this has to do with his mother's murder. Barry tells him this has nothing to do with the case. After this conversation, Barry leaves. We move to the Watchtower. The Speed Force trace wasn't the only thing Barry found on Reverse Flash's body. There was something else. Large amounts of radiation similar to that of the button. Wherever Professor Zoom had been, he was filled with that radiation. After all, Flash was hiding something from Batman. Barry is in the Lost Objects room. After each mission, the Justice League stores the objects from the event in that room. Barry remembers what Wally told him when he was lost in the Speed Force. He felt the presence of someone from there. Unfortunately, he didn't manage to see who they were. They're here, waiting to attack for some reason. Wally said a force more powerful than Darkseid was watching them. Wally will probably be angry when he finds out that Flash didn't ask him for help with this case. That doesn't matter. Barry will travel alone. Flash swore he would never use this device again. He should have destroyed it, but he kept it for an occasion like this. Barry will use the cosmic treadmill to track the button's radiation. The last time he used the treadmill was to travel back in time and stop Professor Zoom from killing his mother. The consequence of that was Flashpoint, an alternate reality on the brink of destruction. This time, he won't travel to change anything. Barry just wants to see who killed Reverse Flash and find out once and for all who's manipulating time. The risks are enormous, but this is something Barry has to do. Suddenly, a badly injured Batman arrives at the Watchtower. He asks if Barry thought he was going to let him do this alone. After all, this is his case too. Barry doesn't want Bruce to come, he's too hurt. Obviously, that won't stop Batman. Bruce anchors a batarang to the treadmill to stay connected to it. Barry gives Batman a sermon about time travel. Bruce knows the risks. Remember, he once traveled through time as well. Flash tells him that his travels were different. This time he'll see impossible things. Also, the current of time is too volatile to navigate. If Bruce detaches from the treadmill, he could get lost in time forever. Bruce interrupts him. He wants to do this now. They're losing a lot of time. At this point in their friendship, Barry keeps forgetting that arguing with Batman is useless. The race begins. Flash asks Batman to hold on. They're about to begin their time travel. As they progress, Barry mentions that this journey is completely different from the last one, and that he's never seen anything like this. The turbulence being generated is making it harder to stay stable on the treadmill. The next thing we see are images from the past. Here we see the origin of the League. Flash remembers that this isn't how they formed the Justice League. Batman thinks they could be alternate realities. Barry reminds him of the lost 10 years. These aren't alternate realities. This is their own universe. A storm begins to drag them in. Barry has to run faster. Everything spirals out of control. A huge lightning bolt strikes the treadmill. This causes Barry to almost fall off the treadmill and get trapped somewhere unknown. Barry has managed to hang on, and Batman is still here thanks to his batarang. More bad news. Our heroes didn't notice that behind them, a massive energy force was approaching. The energy hits them, and we see they're trapped in an unknown place. Batman and Flashland. They both take a hard hit from a tough fall. The bad news keeps coming. The treadmill is completely destroyed. Batman manages to get up. He mentions to Barry that he recognizes this place. This is where he once fell as a child. It seems that they did travel through time. This place looks like the one Batman had when he started watching over Gotham City, before he became the Bat. Barry asks him not to go further and tells him to listen. Flash has a desperate look on his face, but Bruce doesn't listen and looks at a photo of himself and his parents. He then recognizes the weapon in front of him. This weapon is what was used to murder his parents. Something's wrong here. Batman never recovered that gun. How in the world could it be here? Where the hell are they? Someone comes up behind him and says that they did all of this for him. Bruce Wayne turns around, and in front of him is his father, Thomas Wayne. They both look at each other in shock. Barry doesn't know what to do. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm TJ Prime, and see you in the next video.